Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we'll explore the life of Albert Einstein, not just the genius with wild hair, but a man who faced rejection, doubt, and struggles like all of us. This is a story of curiosity, persistence, and never giving up. Stay until the end to discover surprising lessons from Einstein's journey that can inspire your own life. Albert Einstein was born on March 14th, 1879, in Ulm, a small city in Germany. From the very beginning, Albert didn't fit the expectations of a normal child. He spoke very late. In fact, his parents worried that he might never speak properly. His first words came years later than usual, and even then he preferred silence. One story says that little Albert once sat at the dinner table for years without saying a word. Then one day, he suddenly spoke. "The soup is too hot." His shocked parents asked why he hadn't spoken before. Albert calmly replied, "Until now, everything was fine." It's a funny story, but it shows something important. Einstein only spoke when he had something meaningful to say. And here's an interesting fact. Young Albert loved building towers with cards. He could stack them up to 14 stories high. This patience and focus would later help him solve problems that no one else in the world could. Many people believe Einstein was a terrible student. You've probably heard the myth that he failed in mathematics. That's not true. In reality, Einstein was excellent in math. By the age of 12, he had taught himself algebra and geometry. At 14, he had mastered calculus. But where did the bad student myth come from? Well, Einstein hated the strict discipline of German schools at the time. Teachers wanted students to memorize, repeat, and obey. Albert wanted to ask questions, to understand, to explore. One of his teachers even told him, "Einstein, you will never amount to anything." Imagine. The man who would change the laws of physics was told he would be a failure. When Albert was 5 years old, he experienced something magical. He was sick in bed, and his father gave him a small compass to play with. As he moved the compass, the needle always pointed north. Albert was amazed. He realized that something invisible was guiding the needle. This was his first encounter with the mystery of forces, something that would stay in his mind for life. He later said that the compass was the moment he realized the universe was full of hidden secrets. After finishing school, Einstein wanted to attend university, but things didn't go smoothly. At first, he failed the entrance exam to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. He passed the math and science parts, but failed in languages and history. Instead of giving up, he studied harder and tried again the next year. This time he passed. But even at university, Einstein wasn't the perfect student. He often skipped classes, annoyed some professors, and preferred studying on his own. As a result, after graduation, he struggled to find a job. For nearly 2 years, no professor wanted to hire him as an assistant. Think about this. One of the greatest minds in history couldn't even get a basic teaching job. Eventually, with the help of a friend, he got a position as a clerk at the Swiss Patent Office. His job was to review inventions and decide if they were new or useful. It was not glamorous, but it gave him free time to think, to read, and to dream. While working at the patent office, Einstein had ideas that would revolutionize science. In 1905, at the age of 26, he published 4 scientific papers that changed the world. 1. The photoelectric effect, showing that light can behave like particles, not just waves. 2. Brownian motion, proving the existence of atoms. 3. Special relativity, changing our understanding of space and time. 4. E equals mc squared, the most famous equation in the world, showing that energy and matter are connected. This year became known as his Annus Mirabilis, or miracle year. From a patent clerk, he suddenly became one of the most respected scientists in the world. Einstein's personal life was complicated. He married his university classmate Mileva Maric, who was also a physicist. Some historians believe Mileva helped him with his early research. Together they had children, but their marriage was full of difficulties. Eventually they divorced, and Einstein later married his cousin Elsa. He loved his family, but he also admitted that he was not the easiest person to live with. His mind was often lost in thought, focused more on the universe than on daily life. In 1921, Einstein won the Nobel Prize in Physics, not for relativity, but for his explanation of the photoelectric effect. He became a global celebrity. Newspapers called him a genius, crowds followed him, and his lectures were filled with people who wanted to hear him speak. But Einstein remained humble. He once said, "It is not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer." Einstein was not only a scientist, he was also a man of principles. He spoke out against war, against racism, and for human rights. When Adolf Hitler rose to power in Germany, Einstein, who was Jewish, left and moved to the United States. At Princeton University, he continued his research, but also used his voice to fight injustice. Few people know that Einstein was a strong supporter of civil rights in America. He even called racism in the U.S. a disease of white people. He became friends with African American leaders like W.E. Du Bois and supported their fight for equality. During World War II, Einstein faced one of the hardest moral challenges of his life. He signed a letter to President Roosevelt warning that Nazi Germany might build powerful bombs using nuclear fission. This letter eventually led to the Manhattan Project, the creation of the atomic bomb. But Einstein himself did not work on the bomb, and he deeply regretted that his warning contributed to such destruction. He later said, "Had I known that the Germans would not succeed in developing an atomic bomb, I would never have lifted a finger." Even after changing physics forever, Einstein was not satisfied. He spent the last decades of his life searching for a unified field theory, a way to connect all the forces of nature into one grand equation. He never found it, but his attempt inspired future generations of scientists. Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76. His last words, spoken in German, were lost forever because the nurse at his bedside did not understand the language. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." And that is perhaps the greatest lesson of all. Einstein's story is not just about science. It is about the courage to be different, the patience to keep learning, and the responsibility to use knowledge for good. So, the next time you feel discouraged, remember the boy who spoke late, the student who was told he would never succeed, and the patent clerk who changed the universe. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with friends who need a little inspiration today. See you in the next story.